I still remember the first time I laid eyes on her. The sun cast a golden hue over the city that morning, illuminating her laughter as if she were the only person in the world. I was young, ambitious, and utterly captivated by her spirit. Clara had this way of making everything feel possible, her eyes sparkling with dreams that mirrored my own. She was the heartbeat of my life, a melody that played in the background of my long hours at the office. Yet, in my quest for success, I failed to see the storm brewing beneath the surface. It wasn't long before I succumbed to the seductive allure of power. Climbing the corporate ladder became my obsession, and with it, the insatiable need to prove myself. I worked late into the night, sacrificing dinners and weekends, neglecting the very person who had been my anchor. Clara understood. She always did. But as the months turned into years, I watched her fade into the background, her laughter becoming an echo of a happier time. I was so consumed with my ambition that I barely noticed when the light in her eyes dimmed. Then came Rachel. She was everything Clara wasn't. Bold, brash, and unapologetically ambitious in her own right. When I first met her, I was drawn in by the thrill she brought to the table. Rachel was a whirlwind, shaking up the monotony of my life, and for a moment, I was infatuated. I didn't think about the consequences. I didn't think about Clara. I was blinded by the glitter of an enticing new world, one where I was the center of attention, and I let myself be swept away. It was all too easy to justify my choices. I told myself that I needed to be with someone who understood my ambitions, someone who could keep up with my relentless drive. But deep down, I knew I was lying to myself. I was being selfish. The truth was, I was terrified of losing my own identity in the shadow of Clara's brilliance. I didn't want to be the man who faded into the background. I wanted to be the one in the spotlight. As the weeks went by, I began to pull away from Clara. The phone calls grew fewer. Our meetings became brief and strained, and I could feel the love that once permeated our relationship slipping through my fingers. She tried to reach out, to hold on to what we had, but I was too far gone, too entangled in my own desires. I remember the way she looked at me that last time, a mixture of confusion and heartbreak etched across her face. I should have stopped, should have felt something more than just the thrill of new love, but instead, I felt nothing but exhilaration. But the thrill was short-lived. Just when I thought I had everything I wanted, life threw me a curveball that I never saw coming. My brother Jake had always been my confidant, my ally. We shared everything, our dreams, our fears, and even our ambitions. But when he met Clara, everything changed. The moment I saw them together, something inside me snapped. It was a primal, gut-wrenching realization that I had not only lost Clara to another woman, but I had also lost her to my own flesh and blood. I was consumed by regret, a heavy weight that pressed down on my chest, suffocating me. I had destroyed the best thing that had ever happened to me, all for the fleeting thrill of a relationship that ultimately meant nothing. Clara was the one who had believed in me, who had seen the potential I couldn't even see in myself. And now, she was gone, laughing and living with my brother, the very man I had once trusted with my life. I was left with nothing but the bitter taste of betrayal and the haunting memories of what could have been. I remember the hollow ache in my chest as I watched them together, an image seared into my mind that I could never erase. Clara's laughter rang out, a sound I once cherished, now taunting me with its familiarity. I stood at a distance, hidden behind the facade of a confident CEO, but inside I felt like a shattered version of the man I used to be. As I watched Jake wrap his arm around her shoulder, I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. The very sight of them was a reminder of how I'd let my ambition cloud my judgment, how I'd chosen fleeting validation over the love of a lifetime. Every time I closed my eyes, I could see Clara's face, illuminated by the warmth of her smile, but it was no longer directed at me. I had built a wall around my heart, fortified by the belief that I was invincible, but now I was crumbling. The irony of it all was maddening. I had sacrificed everything for success, and, in my reckless pursuit for something I thought I wanted, I had lost the one person who truly understood me. I thought I was writing my own destiny, but instead, I was scripting my own downfall. I tried to drown my sorrows in work, but the more I buried myself in spreadsheets and board meetings, the louder the silence became. The office that once felt like my kingdom now felt like a prison. I couldn't escape the memories of Clara and the love we had built together. Every corner of the office haunted me. The coffee shop where we used to spend lazy Sundays, the rooftop where we shared dreams under the stars. It all felt tainted now, like a beautiful painting that had been splattered with dark paint. Then came the day of the company gala, an event I had meticulously planned, but now felt like a death sentence. I knew Clara would be there, and I was struck with a mix of anticipation and dread. As I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my tie, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was about to walk into my own execution. And when I stepped into the ballroom, the air thick with laughter and chatter, I felt like a ghost haunting my own life. There she was, radiant as ever, her dress hugging her curves in a way that made my heart race and shatter all at once. She was the center of attention, and I felt the familiar pang of jealousy cut through me like a knife. But it was more than that. It was a deep-seated regret that coursed through my veins. I watched as Jake leaned in to whisper something in her ear, her eyes sparkling with delight, and I was frozen in place, torn between wanting to run to her and the fear of being rejected. "Hey, Sam," a voice interrupted my thoughts. It was Rachel, her presence a stark reminder of the mistake I had made. "You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." I forced a smile, but it felt like a mask slipping down my face. "Just lost in thought," I managed to say, my eyes still glued to Clara. Rachel's gaze followed mine, and I could see the flicker of realization in her eyes. "Are you still hung up on her?" she asked, her tone shifting from playful to serious. I didn't respond, but the silence spoke volumes. I had destroyed everything for a momentary thrill, and now the consequences were laid bare before me. As the night wore on, I watched Clara dance, her laughter ringing like a melody I longed to be part of. I could see the joy radiating from her, and it was unbearable. I knew deep down that I had lost her to my brother, but more importantly, I had lost her to my own foolishness. Regret clawed at my insides, a relentless beast that wouldn't let me go. The evening ended, but my internal battle raged on. As I stood there, lost in a sea of faces, I realized something profound. I had to confront my past, to face the choices I made that led me here. And perhaps, just perhaps, there was still a chance to make things right. Maybe if I could find the courage to speak my truth, I could turn back the clock, even just a little. If you've ever faced regret or a decision that changed everything, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you're enjoying this journey with me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. The night air was thick with the scent of expensive perfume and clinking glasses, yet all I could focus on was Clara. The way she moved, the way her laughter danced through the room. It all felt like a cruel reminder of what I had lost. I could see how effortlessly she fit into Jake's world, the way he held her, the light in her eyes that used to be mine. Each smile he drew from her was a dagger to my heart, twisting deeper with every fleeting moment. I thought about the choices I had made, each step leading me further away from her and closer to this hollow existence. The thrill of the corporate ladder had consumed me, and now I stood at the top, surveying a kingdom built on regret. I watched as Clara spun around in Jake's arms, the two of them lost in their own bubble, while I was anchored to the ground, unable to break free. My brother, the very person I had once confided in, now stood as my greatest rival, and the weight of that betrayal was suffocating. Suddenly, the music shifted, a slow, haunting melody that echoed through my mind, pulling me away from my self-pity. I knew what I had to do. I couldn't let this night slip away without at least trying to reclaim a piece of what I had lost. With shaky breaths, I pushed through the crowd, each step feeling like a mile, my heart pounding with every stride. As I approached Clara and Jake, time seemed to slow. Clara looked up, a flash of surprise crossing her face before it melted into a soft smile. "Sam," she said, her voice a melody that sent chills down my spine. I was struck momentarily dumb, caught off guard by the warmth in her gaze. It was the same look she had once reserved for me, and it was both a comfort and a reminder of my failure. "Can we talk?" I managed to say, my voice barely above a whisper. Jake's arm slipped away from her shoulders, and I felt a surge of anger mixed with guilt. He stepped back, his expression unreadable, but I could see the tension in his jawline. Clara hesitated, looking between us, and in that moment, I saw the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. "Sure," she replied, a hint of wariness in her voice. We moved to a quieter corner of the ballroom, the noise fading into a distant hum as I tried to gather my thoughts. I could see the hesitance etched on her face, the fear of what I might say. "Clara, I know I messed up," I started, my heart racing. I was so blinded by my ambition that I didn't see what was right in front of me. I thought I could have it all, but I lost the most important thing: us. Her gaze dropped, and I could see the pain swirling in her eyes. "Sam, you made your choice." The words were like ice, cutting through the warm air between us. "You chose your career over me. I can't just forget that." "I know," I said, the weight of my regret heavy on my shoulders. "But losing you to Jake was a wake-up call. I've spent so long chasing success, thinking it would fill the void. But the truth is, nothing matters without you. I never wanted to hurt you. I was an idiot." She looked up, and for a fleeting moment, I thought I saw a flicker of hope in her eyes, but it vanished just as quickly. "It's not that simple, Sam. You can't just waltz back into my life and expect everything to be okay. I don't expect it to be easy. I need you to know how deeply I regret everything. You were my everything, and I let you slip away." As the music played softly in the background, I saw the conflict within her. I wasn't asking for forgiveness. I was just hoping for a chance to show her that I could change, to prove that I could learn from my mistakes. But the longer I stood there, the more I realized that I was standing on the precipice of something monumental. I had to lay everything bare, to confront not just my feelings for her, but what my brother had taken from me. The realization hit me harder than any corporate merger ever could. It was my own brother who had taken the love of my life, and I was left with the ashes of my choices. As Clara's silence stretched, the air between us thickened, suffocating me with the weight of unspoken words. I wanted to reach out, to grasp her hands and pull her closer, but fear held me back. What if she recoiled? What if she turned away, leaving me stranded in a sea of my own making? The thought was unbearable. "Sam," she finally said, her voice steady but laced with a tremor. "You have no idea how hard it's been for me, watching you climb higher while I was left in the shadows. I felt invisible, like I didn't matter at all." Her words pierced me, each syllable a reminder of my selfishness. I had been so consumed by my ambition that I hadn't noticed her suffering, hadn't realized that the very foundation of our relationship was crumbling beneath me. "I can't change the past," I admitted, my voice cracking under the weight of my anguish. "But I can promise you this: I will fight for you, for us. I don't want to lose you again." She shook her head, and the anguish mirrored in her eyes felt like a taut string on the verge of snapping. "You think this is about you fighting for me? I don't know if I can trust you again, Sam. It's not just about the choices you made. It's about the person you became. You were so focused on what you wanted that you didn't even see me anymore." Her honesty stung, but it was the truth I needed to hear. I had been a fool, blinded by the glare of success. "You're right," I said, desperation creeping into my tone. "I lost sight of everything that mattered, but I swear to you I'm not that man anymore. I want to be someone who deserves you." "Words are cheap," she replied, her gaze unwavering. "You need to show me, Sam. But how can I believe that you won't just slip back into your old ways? Because I've lost everything. I've lost you, Clara, and I can't bear the thought of losing you to anyone else, especially not to Jake." The name left a bitter taste in my mouth. The reality of my brother's betrayal felt like a poison coursing through my veins. "He's my brother, but I won't let him take you from me again." The tension in her shoulders eased slightly, but her expression remained guarded. "You think this is easy for me? That I just want to jump back into your arms?" "No," I replied urgently. I know it's not easy. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I can't walk away without trying. I need you to see that I'm willing to fight, not just for us, but for the person I want to become for you." For a moment, we stood there, suspended in a fragile silence. My heart raced as I searched her eyes for any sign of the girl I once knew, the girl who had filled my life with laughter and love. She was still there, hidden beneath layers of hurt and disappointment. "Sam," she said finally, her voice softer now, "I don't know if I can be the person you want me to be. I don't know if I can let you back in." "I understand," I whispered, feeling the tears pricking at the corners of my eyes. "But please, just give me a chance to prove it. Not just for you, but for me too. I need to show you that I can be better." The music shifted again, and couples began to sway gently around us, oblivious to our heartache. But in that moment, it felt like the world had narrowed down to just the two of us. I could see the walls she had built around herself starting to crack, just a little, and I seized that moment. "Clara, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'll fight for you, for us, even if it takes a lifetime." She looked away, the conflict raging in her eyes, and I could feel the ground beneath me shifting. I had laid my heart bare, but I knew we weren't done yet. The battle was just beginning, and I had to be ready for whatever came next. I had to confront Jake, confront the very brother I once trusted. I had to reclaim not just Clara's heart, but my own. I was standing at the edge of a precipice, ready to leap into the unknown, determined to reshape my destiny, even if it meant facing the person I feared the most. As I stood there, the air thick with unresolved tension, I could feel the gravity of my choices pulling me down. Clara's eyes, shimmering with unshed tears, reflected a storm of emotions that mirrored my own. It was a reminder of everything I had taken for granted, everything I had lost. "Sam," she breathed, her voice barely above a whisper, "what if you're not enough?" Her question hit me harder than any blow. What if I wasn't enough? The thought spiraled through my mind, a haunting echo of my failures. "I don't expect you to believe in me right away, Clara," I said, my voice trembling with sincerity. "But I need you to know that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to earn your trust back." She looked away, her gaze drifting to the couples swirling around us, lost in their own moments of joy. "It's not just about trust," she said, her tone heavy with resignation. "It's about the hurt, the betrayal. It's about Jake." The mention of my brother sent a jolt of anger through me, but I quelled it, knowing it was misplaced. I can't change what he did, but I can confront him. I'll make it clear that I won't let him come between us again. He made his choice, and it was the worst mistake of his life. Clara's brow furrowed as she processed my words. "You think confronting him will fix everything? That it will magically erase the pain?" "No," I replied, grappling with the truth of her statement. "But it's a start. I can't ignore the damage he's done. I need to take responsibility for my part in this too. I need to show you I'm not that man anymore." Her silence was deafening, and I could feel the weight of her uncertainty pressing down on us. "Sam, I don't want to be the reason for your revenge," she finally said, her voice tinged with sadness. "I don't want to be the catalyst for this war between brothers." "It's not about revenge," I insisted, desperation creeping into my voice. "It's about fighting for what's right, for what we had. I'm not losing you to him, Clara. I can't bear the thought of it." She turned back to me, her expression softening just a fraction. "And what if this fight only pushes me away? What if I end up resenting you for it? Then I'll accept that," I said, my heart pounding with the weight of my words. "But I can't stand by and let you slip away. If I have to fight, then so be it. I'll fight not just for us, but for your happiness, whatever that looks like." For the first time, I saw a flicker of hope in her eyes. "You really mean that, don't you?" "I do," I whispered, feeling the tears I had been holding back threaten to spill over. "I've never been more certain of anything in my life. You are my everything, Clara. I lost sight of that, but now I see clearly. I won't let my mistakes define our future." The music shifted again, and for a moment, our world shrank to just the two of us, caught in a fragile dance of vulnerability. "Okay," she said finally, her voice steadying. But this is a journey, Sam. It won't be easy. I'm ready for the journey, I replied, my heart swelling with determination. I'll walk with you, every step of the way. Let's face the shadows together, whatever they may be. As I looked into her eyes, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. I had to confront Jake, to reclaim not just Clara's heart, but my own sense of worth. I wanted to know if any of you have ever faced a similar crossroads in your life. The pain of loss, the struggle for redemption, and the hope of rebuilding can feel insurmountable. Please share your stories in the comments, and let's explore these themes together. What would you do in my shoes? Your experiences matter, and I'd love to hear them. I could feel the weight of Clara's words settling in my chest, a mix of fear and exhilaration. The prospect of confronting Jake loomed ahead like a storm cloud on the horizon. And yet, for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had something worth fighting for. Clara was my anchor, the light in the chaos that I had created. Let's not waste any more time, I said, my voice stronger now as I took her hand in mine. The warmth of her skin against mine sent a surge of hope through me. We stepped out of the crowd, leaving the music and laughter behind, moving toward a future that felt uncertain yet promising. Each step was a reminder of the distance I needed to cover, not just physically to confront Jake, but emotionally to bridge the chasm I had created between Clara and me. We arrived at my brother's apartment, the place where so many memories had been tainted by his betrayal. I hesitated outside the door, my heart pounding in my chest like a war drum. Clara squeezed my hand, grounding me. "You can do this," she whispered, her breath brushing against my ear, sending a shiver down my spine. "I know," I replied, though doubt crept into my mind. In that moment, I felt like a boy again, standing before a bully, trembling yet resolute. I knocked on the door and a part of me hoped he wouldn't answer. But Jake opened it, his expression shifting from surprise to a smirk that ignited a fire in my gut. "Sam," he drawled, the casualness of his tone cutting deeper than any knife. "To what do I owe this pleasure?" "Cut the games, Jake," I said, forcing my voice to remain steady. "We need to talk." He leaned against the door frame, arms crossed, a smug look plastered on his face. "Talk? About what? How you lost Clara because of your own shortcomings?" I clenched my fists, trying to rein in the anger bubbling inside me. "This isn't about me. It's about you and the mess you made. You think it was easy for her after you betrayed us both? You think this is some kind of joke?" His laughter echoed through the hallway, a hollow sound that made my skin crawl. "You're still clinging to her, aren't you? Pathetic." "Stop it," Clara interjected, stepping beside me, her presence a shield against Jake's venom. "This isn't a game, Jake. You hurt us both, and I won't let you manipulate Sam anymore." Jake's expression faltered for a moment, surprise flickering in his eyes, but it quickly morphed into something darker. "You think you can just waltz in here and act like you're the victim? You don't know the full story, Clara. You don't know what he's done to me." I took a step forward, my patience wearing thin. "This isn't about you anymore. It's about what you did to her, to us. You crossed a line that can't be uncrossed, and I'm done letting you pull the strings." "Is that so?" he countered, his voice low and dangerous. "You think confronting me will change anything? You're still just a kid playing at being a man. You'll always be in my shadow." The truth of his words stung, a painful reminder of our childhood rivalry. But I wasn't that boy anymore. I had Clara now, and she had given me strength I never knew I possessed. "I'm not in your shadow, Jake. I'm stepping out into the light, and I won't let you dim it. Not anymore." He scoffed, but I could see the cracks forming in his bravado. "You're delusional if you think you can just erase what happened. I'll always be a part of your past." "Maybe," I admitted, my voice dropping to a whisper, "but I won't let you dictate my future. Clara deserves better than the mess you made, and I'm going to give her what she needs, what we both need." Jake's face twisted in anger, but for a brief moment, I saw uncertainty flicker in his eyes. I turned to Clara, and in that moment, I felt the weight of our journey ahead. It wouldn't be easy, but we were in this together. And as I looked back at Jake, I realized that no matter how deep the wounds ran, I was finally ready to fight for the life I wanted, for the love I refused to lose. The tension in the air crackled like electricity, and I could feel Clara's presence beside me, steadying my resolve. I took a deep breath, trying to summon the courage that had brought us this far. "You think this is just a game, Jake?" I said, my voice firm yet calm. "This is my life. Clara is my life. You destroyed what we had, and I won't let you keep doing it." Jake's smirk faded, replaced by something darker. "You really think you can just walk in here and act like you've taken the moral high ground? You're just as flawed as I am, Sam. You always have been." "Maybe I am," I replied, feeling the words resonate in the pit of my stomach. "But I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to make things right. Something you wouldn't understand, given how you operate." He chuckled, but the sound was devoid of humor. "Right? You think fixing things is as simple as a heartfelt apology? You think you can just sweep Clara off her feet and forget everything that happened?" Clara stepped forward, her voice cutting through the air like a blade. "Don't you dare belittle our feelings, Jake. You made choices and now you have to live with them. I'm not your plaything anymore." For a moment, I thought I saw a flicker of regret in Jake's eyes, but he quickly masked it with anger. "You think you're so special, don't you? That you're the prize in this twisted game? You're just a rebound, Clara. Just a distraction for him." The words hit me like a punch to the gut, and I felt my heart sink. How could he twist the truth like that? "You don't get to define her," I said, my voice rising with emotion. "Clara is the strongest person I know. She's not a distraction. She's my everything. Something you'll never understand, Jake." His eyes darkened, and I could see the familiar rage bubbling just beneath the surface. "You think I care about your little fairy tale? You're delusional. I can have her back whenever I want. You're just delaying the inevitable. Is that what you tell yourself to sleep at night?" Clara shot back, her voice filled with defiance. "That you can take whatever you want without consequences? You've lost me, Jake. You lost me the moment you chose someone else over Sam." I felt a surge of pride for her strength in this moment. It was a stark contrast to the boy who always felt overshadowed by his brother. I realized then that I wasn't just fighting for Clara. I was fighting for myself, for the man I wanted to become. "You'll never have her again," I declared, the words spilling from my lips with a fierce conviction. "You made your choice, and now you have to live with the emptiness you created." Jake's expression shifted, anger morphing into something almost desperate. "You think this is over? You think I'm just going to let you walk away unscathed? I'll make sure you regret this day." "Bring it on," I challenged, feeling the fire ignite within me. "You can try, but I have something you'll never take away from me. Clara's love. And that's more powerful than any of your games." The silence that followed was heavy, the air thick with unspoken words. I could see the realization dawning on Jake that he had lost not just me, but Clara, the one person who had always been there despite the chaos. The brotherly bond we once shared felt like a distant memory, overshadowed by betrayal. I turned to Clara, and in that moment, I saw a flicker of hope in her eyes. "Are you ready?" I whispered, knowing that whatever lay ahead would be a battle, but one we were prepared to face together. With a nod, she took a step closer, intertwining her fingers with mine, and as we stood together, I felt the weight of my brother's presence fading, replaced by a new sense of purpose. This was our time to rise, to break free from the shackles of the past. No matter what Jake tried to throw our way, I knew we had each other. Together, we would build something stronger than the ruins he left behind. Jake's laughter echoed in the dimly lit room, a sound that felt foreign and bitter. "You think you're so noble, Sam? So righteous? You're just a fool playing house. The reality is that I still have control. I can destroy you both if I want to." The threat hung in the air, palpable and thick, but I refused to let it pierce my resolve. Clara squeezed my hand, her fingers warm and grounding, and I drew strength from her presence. "You don't scare me, Jake," I replied, my voice steady, though I could feel the tremor of unease lurking beneath the surface. "You're not the king here anymore. You've already lost the game." His eyes narrowed, and for a moment, I saw the vulnerability flicker behind the bravado. You think this is just about you and Clara? You're wrong. I've sacrificed everything for this company, for our family. And you think you can just waltz in and take her from me? You think I'll let you? Your sacrifices meant nothing if they were built on lies and deceit, Clara interjected, her voice fierce and unwavering. You threw away everything for a moment of selfishness, and now you want to act as if it matters? You're only holding on to shadows, Jake. Shadows of what you wished you could have had. Shadows? He spat the word as if it were venom. You think you found something real, don't you? But you're just a passing phase, Clara. A means to an end for him. You'll see that soon enough. I felt a surge of anger rise within me, a fierce protector awakening at the thought of Clara being diminished by his words. You don't know anything about us. We've fought through the darkness and we've come out stronger, unlike you, who hides behind power and manipulation. The silence that followed was deafening, a moment where the air seemed to suspend in time. I could see the gears turning in Jake's mind, the desperation battling against the facade he tried so hard to maintain. You think you're so different from me, but you're not, he finally said, his voice low and strained. You're just a version of me that's too afraid to embrace the darkness. I took a step forward, feeling Clara's strength beside me. And you're a man who refuses to acknowledge the light. You've lost everything that mattered because you couldn't see beyond your own ego. But I won't let that happen to us. We won't become you. I could feel Clara's heartbeat quickening, matching my own rising fervor. I've spent too long in your shadow, Jake. I won't be a pawn in your game anymore. You've made your choices, and now you'll face the consequences. His expression twisted, a mix of anger and something else. Fear, perhaps. You think you can just walk away from me? From this? You don't know who you're dealing with. I will not be ignored. Then do your worst, I challenged, my voice rising above the tension. The weight of our shared history bore down on us. But in that moment, I felt liberated. Clara's grip tightened around my fingers, an affirmation of our solidarity. I was no longer the boy who cowered in his brother's shadow. I was a man ready to fight for what was rightfully mine. Sam, Clara whispered, her eyes searching mine. We can't let him win. We have to move forward. I nodded, my heart swelling with determination. Together, I promised, the word hanging in the air like a vow. We'll face whatever comes, side by side. Jake's laughter pierced the moment, a low, mocking sound that sent shivers down my spine. You're both so naive. You think love conquers all? I'll show you just how wrong you are. As he stepped back, a flicker of unease coursed through me, but I swallowed it down, clinging to the hope that Clara embodied. This was our moment to redefine everything, to rise from the ashes of betrayal and build something beautiful. With a deep breath, I turned to Clara, her presence igniting a fire within me that I never knew existed. Let's go, I said, feeling the weight of the past lift as we stepped away from the ruins of our former lives. Together, we would create a new path, one where Jake's darkness could no longer reach us. The moment we stepped out of that room, a rush of fresh air hit my face, carrying with it the scent of possibility. Clara walked beside me, her shoulders squared, and I could feel the electric pulse of her determination merging with my own. Each step felt like a declaration, a rebellion against the world we had just escaped. Behind us, Jake's laughter echoed, but it was fading, becoming a distant memory as we moved forward. Sam, Clara said, her voice breaking through my thoughts. Are you okay? There was a tenderness in her gaze, one that made my heart ache with a mix of love and anger towards Jake. I will be, I replied, forcing a smile. I can't believe how far we've come and yet how much he still tries to control everything. It's infuriating. Clara nodded, her expression serious. He thinks he can use fear to manipulate us, but we won't let him. We have to be smarter than that. We have to take back what he thinks he owns. I paused, looking out at the city skyline. The towering buildings felt like giants looming over us. But in that moment, they were also symbols of our potential. You're right. We need a plan. We can't let him keep running our lives from the shadows. As we walked, I felt a growing sense of urgency. I couldn't let Jake's darkness seep into our lives any longer. What if we gathered allies? People who have been wronged by him too. They might want to fight back. Clara's eyes lit up with realization. Yes, we could reach out to those who've been impacted by his decisions. Employees, partners. We could build a coalition against him. I could see the vision forming in her mind, and it ignited my own. We could expose his lies, his manipulations, show everyone the truth about who he really is. Clara's fingers intertwined with mine, and I felt the strength of our connection. We'll need to be careful, though. He won't take kindly to being challenged. We have to be strategic. Agreed, I said, determination hardening in my chest. We'll gather information, build our case, and we'll do it together. As we moved through the busy streets, my mind raced with possibilities. I had spent so long in Jake's shadow, but now I felt as if I were stepping into my own light. Clara had shown me that I was more than just my brother's rival. I was capable of leading, of making a difference. We stopped at a cafe, a quaint little place that felt miles away from the chaos of our lives. Sitting across from each other, I could see the weight of our situation reflected in Clara's eyes, but also a glimmer of hope. "What's our first step?" she asked, her voice steady. "Let's start by reaching out to the people we trust," I suggested. "Anyone who has seen what Jake is capable of. We need to build our network and create a safe space to strategize." "Right," Clara said, her mind already racing ahead. "And we can document everything. Every email, every conversation that shows how he operates. We need to be bulletproof." As we sipped our coffee, I watched her, captivated by her resolve. I had been afraid of losing her, of her being swept away by the tumultuous tides of our family history. But now, I realized that together we were stronger than any storm. We were fighting for our future, for the love that had grown amidst the wreckage. The cafe was bustling with life, but in that moment, it felt like we were in our own world, separated from the chaos that Jake represented. I reached across the table, taking her hand once more, feeling the warmth and reassurance that came from our bond. "Whatever happens next, I promise I won't let you down. We'll get through this." Clara smiled, and it was radiant, a beacon amidst the uncertainty. "I know you won't. We're in this together, Sam." The journey ahead was daunting, but as I looked into her eyes, I felt an unwavering conviction. We would face Jake, not just as his adversaries, but as a united front, willing to dismantle the empire he had built on deceit. Together, we were ready to reclaim our lives, to forge a path where light could finally break through the shadows. The air was thick with anticipation as we stepped out of the cafe, our hearts pounding in unison. I could feel the weight of our resolve propelling us forward, the flickering flames of hope igniting a fire within me that I hadn't felt in years. Clara walked beside me, her presence a soothing balm against the chaos that had once engulfed my life. Every step we took was a silent vow to dismantle the web of lies Jake had spun around us, a promise to expose the truth that had been buried for far too long. As we traversed the city streets, my mind raced with strategies. How could we unearth the evidence we needed? Who could we trust? The questions swirled like autumn leaves caught in a brisk wind, but Clara's unwavering grip on my hand grounded me. "We need to start with the employees," she said, her voice steady and assured. "Those who have seen the darker side of Jake's leadership." "Right," I replied, my thoughts aligning with hers. "We should create a secure platform where they can share their experiences without fear of retribution. We need to build a narrative that highlights the truth of his actions." Clara nodded enthusiastically, her eyes sparkling with determination. "And we should document everything meticulously. The more organized we are, the harder it will be for him to dismiss us." We spent the next few days reaching out to former employees, discreetly gathering testimonies and evidence of Jake's manipulative tactics. Each conversation was a revelation, peeling back layers of deceit that had long gone unchallenged. I felt a sense of purpose blooming within me, a stark contrast to the suffocating darkness Jake had cast over my life for far too long. With every story shared, I felt the shackles of my brother's control loosening, allowing me to breathe once more. Clara was a force of nature. Her ability to connect with others, to evoke their trust and empathy, was nothing short of miraculous. I watched her navigate these conversations with grace, her compassion radiating like sunlight breaking through the clouds. She became the heartbeat of our movement, the catalyst that transformed our plans into action. I couldn't help but admire her strength, her unwavering belief in our mission. But there were moments when doubt crept in, whispering insidiously in the back of my mind. What if Jake found out? What if he retaliated? Each night as I lay in bed, those fears coiled around me like a serpent, squeezing tighter with every passing hour. I would glance at Clara, sleeping peacefully beside me, and remind myself why we were doing this. The love we shared was worth fighting for, worth risking everything to protect. One evening, after a particularly intense day of gathering information, Clara and I found ourselves sitting on the rooftop of my apartment, the city sprawling beneath us like a living tapestry. The sunset painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, and I took a deep breath, allowing the beauty of the moment to wash over me. "Do you think we're doing the right thing?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She turned to me, her expression soft yet fierce. What Jake did to us, to so many others, was wrong. We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for everyone he's hurt. This is bigger than us, Sam. Her words resonated deeply within me, igniting the fire that had begun to flicker dimly. I reached for her hand, intertwining our fingers as I gazed into her eyes, feeling the warmth of her conviction seep into my very being. "You're right. We're reclaiming our lives, our truth, and we won't stop until we've brought him down." The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity. We worked tirelessly, our small coalition growing stronger with each passing day. Former employees banded together, united by a shared desire for justice and the truth. We compiled our findings, creating a comprehensive dossier that detailed Jake's deceitful practices and the havoc he had wreaked within the company. It was exhilarating, empowering, and terrifying all at once. But as the deadline for our confrontation approached, the shadows of doubt resurfaced. Jake was a formidable opponent, and I knew he would fight back with everything he had. I shared my concerns with Clara one night, the weight of my fear spilling out in a torrent. "What if we're not ready? What if he destroys us?" Clara cupped my face in her hands, her gaze piercing through my uncertainty. "We are ready, Sam. We've prepared for this moment and we have each other. No matter what happens, we face it together. That's our strength." Her words were a lifeline, pulling me back from the precipice of despair. As we stood on the brink of a battle that would alter our lives forever, I realized then that it wasn't just about defeating Jake. It was about reclaiming our narrative, our future. It was about love, resilience, and the indomitable spirit that had brought us together. Together, we would rise. Together, we would take down the empire built on deceit. And together, we would emerge from the shadows, ready to embrace the light of a new beginning.